My name is Marcus Stewart, and welcome to another episode of Carving Gaming Rushmores. And man, am I excited about this one. It is gonna be a melee today because we are talking about one of my favorite series of all time, Super Smash Bros. Or Super Smash Bros. However you want to call it, it doesn't matter because we are going to talk about it. And entering the ring, I've got two challengers, one new and one returning. First off, let's start with a brand new face. We've got Mr. Blake Hester.
Hello, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I almost missed my introduction because I was taking a big drink of water.
Oh man, it's like missing the bus.
Exactly.
You're like chasing the introduction down the street, waving your hand. But no, thanks for coming on, dude.
Absolutely.
All right, and our returning challenger, we've missed him the last couple episodes, but he is making his triumphant return. We've got Jack Gardner.
Hey everybody, it's me. And for the record, it's Bros, and I will accept no other pronunciation of the title of a Super Smash Bros. Game.
Yeah.
Has it ever been officially confirmed?
Well, that's how they always spell it, right? It's always the abbreviation for brothers. So,
but
Bros.
Super Mario Brothers is Bros, but it's always called Brothers.
I mean, just because it's called that doesn't make it right.
Yeah, exactly. My truth is mine and mine alone, but also I'm imposing it on everyone else. I'm
a believer in alternative facts.
I've firmly been in the Bros camp for a long time, despite not really being a Smash Bros fan.
Okay.
I think we'd have to look up the original N64 commercial where they're on the field with the song, and then see what I'm pretty sure the announcer says the name, and I think I remember him saying Smash Brothers.
Well, I mean, the announcer even in the game says Super Smash Brothers, but if they wanted us to call it that, they shouldn't have used the abbreviation.
Right.
Just saying.
They can't be expected to spell that whole word out.
Sure they can. They got Nintendo money. They can pop the extra ink.
It's like Sakurai's already killing himself making these games. He can't be bothered to spell that word out. But yeah, Super Smash Bros. Or Brothers, whatever. Popular series. I adore these games, and I have since the first one. And the reason we're doing this is that we have a new game on the horizon coming to Switch. If you watched that recent Nintendo Direct, the big mystery though is whether or not it is a brand new game or if it's a port of the fourth game that was on Wii U. I personally lean towards a new game. I'm curious, what do you guys think it's going to be?
Probably a new game. I don't understand the point in re-releasing a Wii U game on their now super successful platform.
I mean, it worked for Mario Kart.
Don't dispute what I just said. I felt really confident in that answer. I didn't have any facts to back it up, but I felt like it sounded good when I said it.
It did.
Okay, I'll retract my.
I do have to say though, I think it's going to wind up being a port, and that's just my cynical and doubtful attitude kind of coming to the surface. But I don't know. I just feel like Nintendo has kind of a track record of maybe doing that with a lot of games from the Wii coming out on the Switch.
Yeah, the port seems like the safe answer. It's hard, but yeah, it could either go either way. I mean, we've already seen that they're already bringing new characters, which is kind of the impetus for this podcast. So for any new Smash Brothers game, port or otherwise, my absolute favorite part of the whole kind of Smash Brothers process is the roster reveals. I love seeing what characters are going to come in the game, and I love watching other people kind of speculate. And I think that after the last game, the sky's kind of the limit, because Smash 4 is probably my favorite Smash just in terms of just the pure diversity in the roster. By the end of that game, and I mean by the end post DLC, that roster, I've heard people say that just a few years ago it looks like a fan-made roster that you would just completely dismiss as horse crap, and it really does, because you've got Cloud, Bayonetta, Ryu, just all these improbable names in the game. And I'm curious to see how the Switch game, if it is a new game, how it can kind of top that, because he really seemed like he went for it last time. But that is kind of what we're going to try to do, because this episode we are going to be carving the Mount Rushmore of the 4 best dream characters for the new Smash Brothers. And basically what that means is that we have all made our own nominees of Smash characters, new Smash characters that we want to see, and we're going to argue which ones would be the best fit for the game. And that's going to be, as a very subjective thing. It can be based on, the character itself. If you can argue, like, how the character would fit in the game, like moveset or anything like that, maybe a stage that revolves around it, and just any number of X factors just flying by the seat of our pants, just convince everyone why your character should, be the top of the class. And yeah, if you've not listened to Carving Gaming Rushmores, that's pretty much what this show's about. We center on a topic, and we try to find 4 premier examples of that topic. And, the topic could be, 4 times, the best 4 times that, I don't know, a rival crew and Sea of Thieves completely undid your fun by jacking all your crap and effectively undoing all your progress and, making out with your booty. It could be the 4 most irritating lines that a Square Enix character has ever uttered. Or it could be...
Sorry, I'm not gonna lie to you. When you said making out with your booty, I thought a completely different thing than what you meant.
Yeah,
It could be-
I was there too. Yeah,
I had to call it out.
not that there's anything wrong with that.
No.
I mean,
But that's where my mind went.
I
don't know if
hadn't
that
played.
reflects on me.
I hadn't
or the
played
wording.
Sea of Thieves.
I mean,
and I
just-
immediately got interested.
I mean, yeah, now you got me thinking of, like, R. Kelly now and just him singing about booties. And now I kind of want R. Kelly and Sea of Thieves.
He's a bad dude, though.
Yeah, he kind of is.
You
but
should maybe Nicki Minaj
he-
instead.
That's a weird choice to go from him. But
Well, no, she has that song about eating booty like cupcakes. So
What?
it's totally a lyric in one of her songs. So I'm just,
Okay.
I don't think we should put R. Kelly in Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, okay. Do you think we should put him in Smash Brothers? Is he one of your picks?
No, I think R. Kelly's pretty terrible, so I try not to pick him for most games.
Fair enough. Yeah, sorry, R. Kelly. You're gonna have to stay trapped in the closet. So yeah, let's just get this started. How about you, Blake? Let's share your first nominee. Who would you like to see in the next Super Smash Brothers game?
Should I go like more? Should I pick one that kind of makes sense, or should I go balls to the wall first?
It's up to you. However you wanna attack.
Hold on, I'm gonna flip a coin real quick.
Okay, we got Harvey Dent here.
It landed heads, so I'm gonna go pretty safe, and that is 2B from Nier Automata.
Ooh,
Okay, yeah.
That's safe.
Well, I mean, like, platinum characters have been in Smash before, and I guess it's not, well, no, I was gonna say it's a PlayStation exclusive, but no, it's not. It didn't come out.
But it's not on Nintendo.
Is
though.
that a prerequisite? Does it have to be on Nintendo?
No, because Cloud
Cloud.
was never on a Nintendo.
Yeah,
platform.
yeah. So I'm sticking with what I said.
Yeah, that's why I was like saying that. Ooh, that's not safe.
So the only thing I thought of about, first off, it was really hard to make this list because every time I thought of a character, it was already in Smash Brothers. Like,
Oh,
instantly
really?
I was like, Bayonetta would be super cool, and then I remember she was already in there. But
That's why that last game is so good. You're like, oh man, they really went for it.
Right. 2B has this dodge move where she, like, disappears for a second and goes around her enemy. And the only reason I want her in that game is I think it would be really funny to troll other players by constantly disappearing and reappearing on the other side of them. And that's basically it. No other reason. I didn't think about any other mechanics, any outfits she could wear. I just thought it would be funny to mess with my friends.
And real quick, for if you're not familiar with 2B, who is she exactly? Like,
She is one of, spoilers, 3 protagonists of Nier Automata. I'm not exactly sure. And she is an android who is doomed to constantly live the same existence over and over, all the while looking pretty cool in a Lolita outfit.
Okay,
That's it.
go. So, yeah, 2B. Wow, that was unexpected. But yeah, I get the platinum vibe.
Was it unexpected? Because I was actually considering having 2B on my list as well.
I mean, maybe it's because of again, even though someone like Cloud is there, like, the not being on the Nintendo platform thing, especially, it'll be more unexpected when I share one of my picks maybe I'll do it next since we're kind of on the same vibe. But yeah, I'll just go next.
Yeah, go
kind
for
of on that platinum vibe. I went for a platinum game that also is on a Nintendo platform, and that is Jack Kamen from Mad World.
Oh,
And-
okay.
Yeah. So Mad World was a prior to Bayonetta on the original Wii. That was kind of, I think it was Platinum's first like kind of like new IP to appear on a Nintendo platform, at least like as Platinum Games. At least I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong, but I'm 99% sure that's the case. And Mad World, to this day, it might be the best, or at least it's definitely the top 3 best third-party games for the original Wii. It's a if you've never played it, it's like a cool, stylish, like Frank Miller-esque black and white action game where you play as this this kind of tough guy ex-Marine who's in this death game called Death Watch. And it's the whole game plays out like a series of like you're on TV and it's being broadcast and it's just this death tournament that you have to survive in. And all the levels are just giant death arenas and you're fighting waves of enemies, but you can kill them in a variety of ways because there's like different traps set up and your score goes up depending on like how creatively you can kill them. And, you know, you're trying to appease like the viewers and ratings so that you can kind of like survive long enough to get to the next round. All the while you're trying to stop this other kind of like more sinister plot. And it was notable at the time for being one of the first like big M-rated games for the Wii. Because this is back when Nintendo was still very much like, you know, like they weren't really publishing like mature things, or at least like especially big third-party mature things. But this was as violent as anything on any of the other platforms. Like blood and guts, like just the death animations were just insane. Like, you know, it's a Platinum game. So,
I'm looking at a picture of a guy in a wood chipper right now from this game.
yeah, it's a great game. Like, I loved it when it came out. And I think Jack would be a cool addition to kind of like
I agree. I would be.
Oh yeah, Jack, you would do it. You know, it's all. I always wondered why. What happened, man? It was rough in there for you. Love Jack and stuff like that. You've cleaned yourself up pretty good since then. But for one, I think that a stage around it would be awesome. Like just a black and white Smash stage, and it could have like traps that you could like maybe throw your opponents in and do stuff, and it could have like in the game there's these 2 announcers that commentate everything and they're like really over the top, so like I think that would be perfect for a Smash stage, or they're just like talking about everything and just being really ridiculous. And then Jack himself, he uses a chainsaw and like guns and all this other stuff. I think the only thing that would hold him back is that you'd have to, I mean, it depends on if Nintendo would water him down. I think that Bayonetta being in 4 kind of like makes it easier for him, because, you know, Bayonetta's a little more fantastical, but it's still, you know, she's still like slicing up angels and stuff like that, and has like guns all over her. So they're not opposed to having a character with like actual guns. So I think that they could make it work. They'd have to tone him down a little bit, but I think he would fit right in with the rest of the cast, and I think he would also stand out, which I think is really important when you have a cast that diverse, is to have somebody that really stands out, especially if he retains his black and white look and they don't try to colorize him like they did when they had him guest appear in what was that game, Anarchy Reigns, if anyone remembers that. So yeah, I think that he has the uniqueness and then the kind of like history on his side too, in terms of like Platinum and Nintendo's relationship, to be a decently probable Smash fighter.
Would he have a stage?
Oh yeah, that's what I was saying before. Like his stage, like I said, his stage could arguably be the best thing about him if it's designed like the game, like it has like all the black and white look, and then just death traps all over the place.
Right.
Yeah, and those announcers too. So that's my first pick, Jack Kamen.
All right, solid. That was unexpected. I was not expecting that. Mostly,
right, so
mostly because like the violentness of Mad World, I feel like clashes a little bit with kind of Super Smash Brothers more cartoony violence, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But I dig it. So
yeah. So from Jack Kamen to Jack Gardner.
My first pick that I'm gonna go with is I'm going with one of the classics. One of the classics that I feel has not been given a fair shake in modern gaming, and that is Dig Dug Dude.
Dig Dug Dude.
I would love Dig Dug Dude as a playable character in Super Smash Bros.
Huh. Does he have a name?
I don't
officially.
I do not know, but I just love the idea of being able to grab someone and then like inflate the character like a balloon and like pop them.
Like that could be like his smash attack.
Yeah, or like just his normal grab move, or like I don't know. There are just so many possibilities, and like he's very heroic. He digs through the ground like crazy, and he fights dragon monsters and like drops boulders on them. And also think of how cool a stage like that would be, like a Dig Dug stage where everyone's digging tunnels to like try and fight each other.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of possibilities there, and I really feel like Dig Dug was one of those really big classic arcade games that hasn't really been given a modern fair shake or 3D twist, and I feel like, he might be kind of cool in 3D. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they took Duck Hunt.
Right.
Put that in the last game.
Duck Hunt Dog can be a character, Dig Dug Dude can be too. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, give DDD a chance.
Well, he's already
maybe
in the game.
That's true. Now that I think about it, maybe that would hold him back. They're like, we've already got one DDD. We'll see. But no, that's an interesting choice. Dig Dug, nice deep cut or deep dig, I guess. Alrighty, so round 2, Blake. Who's your second choice?
Real quick, before I jump into that, the protagonist of Dig Dug has like a surprisingly deep lore.
Are you
What?
like on the official
Really?
the official Dig Dug wiki?
Yeah, I'm on the Wikipedia page.
Does he have a name?
The protagonist goes by Taizo Hori.
Okay.
He is the father of Susumu Hori, the main character in the Mr. Driller series, and he
Wait,
is
what?
also the
What?
ex-husband of Tobi Kissy Masuyo, the heroine of Baraduke.
Wait, there's a Mr. Driller?
What?
Yeah.
They're related? I mean, they're similar games, but I never thought they were like related in terms of lore.
Yeah. He's apparently the father of the main character in Mr. Driller.
What?
That's crazy.
They should do they should add on to that and say like he's like best friends with like the Spelunky protagonist or something.
They all hang out at the same bar.
Yeah,
After
they hang
their
out with like the
adventures.
SteamWorld Dig people. Like,
I
yeah, we just-
really like the idea of like the Super Smash Brothers cast going to like a milk bar, because obviously it would be a milk bar, and they walk in and Dig Dug Dude is just sitting there kicking a cold glass of milk back, and they're like, and like it turns into like a milk bar brawl, and Dig Dug Dude has to pull out his inflator and like fight and like whack people with it. I don't know. I'm just
feel like
spitballing here. I feel like it would be great.
That could legit be like if he was an announced character. Like I could see that being his reveal trailer, because they always do those really cool like elaborate reveal trailers for the characters. Like that could totally be it. So yeah, you've already thought of that for him. So all right.
Yeah.
So yeah, Blake, what's your second pick?
So I've been playing a lot of Yakuza 6 recently, and so it only feels appropriate to nominate Goro Majima. But specifically, not like the Goro post Yakuza 0 where he turns into this annoying character that like screams in a high-pitched voice. Specifically the Goro from Yakuza 0 where he's super subdued. He has that cool ponytail. But he also like kicks major ass. And I think if you use
I'm not super
his
familiar
fighting
with.
Do what?
No, I was gonna say like I'm not super familiar with Yakuza, but I've heard his name. He's like a bad guy, right?
Well, kind of he's like an ambiguous bad guy because he's
Like an
kind
anti-hero?
of because he's kind of on Kiryu's side, who's the main protagonist in Yakuza 0 and 1 through 6, but he also like gets in a lot of fights with Kiryu. I don't know. There's like this weird thing in Yakuza Kiwami, which is the remake of number 1, where it seems like Goro kind of gets off by being beat up by Kiryu, and so he always like antagonizes him to fight, but it seems like they're kind of friends.
So he's like the Joker.
That's a good way of putting it. Yeah,
but he's like a cooler version of the Joker. Like,
yeah.
To give you like a picture of this, when he's first introduced in Yakuza 0, he is the manager of like the biggest casino gambling, not a gambling place, but like
it's a hostess club.
Hostess club, yeah.
Yeah.
And but there's like a big band playing, and he like has to like really coolly and smoothly take down a rowdy customer who basically tries to murder him in front of everyone.
Yeah, but he has a rule that he won't hit a customer.
Right.
So he has to dance through the fight.
Yeah, it makes the guy look like such a chump, and it's such a great scene and an introduction to that character. I can see him being a lot of fun in Smash. Yeah.
Specifically, I would want the Goro from Yakuza 0 because he's a very different character in 0, which is the prequel to the whole series, than he is in the rest of the series, and 0 dives into why he's like that. But he uses a baseball bat a lot, and he just is like the slickest dude with a baseball bat. He's just swinging around, beating up street thugs. It's crazy cool. And I think like in Smash Bros, you could come up with super cool combats based around the baseball. And then, just like Yakuza 0, every time you hit someone, crazy money would fly out because it takes place in Japan in the 80s where there was, like, tons of money being thrown around.
You get in a baseball bat duel with, like, Ness and Lucas.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. That's super good. Yeah.
He has a special animation with the home run bat.
Yeah. I never even considered that.
They like him and, like, the Earthbound dudes just point their bats at each other like Sting. Just calling each other out, and then like now you mentioned that dance move. Like, what if you had that like as a parry or something like that? Like if you hit him, he just dances out of the way and you miss.
Yeah.
Or if like he had his own stage in the game that was his hostess club, he's not allowed to hit any other characters. So
I'm just picturing like. So a hostess club is it's not a brothel, but like
no, but it's like companionship.
Yeah.
I'm trying to picture like that kind of stage in a Smash Brothers game.
It's like a bar where the employees go on dates with you. It's probably a really dumb way to put it, but
the Nintendo version would be like that club, but instead everyone's using a Nintendo Love Machine.
What is a Nintendo Love Machine?
Oh, that was like one of their super, like before they got into video games like full on, like back in like the late 70s or mid 70s, that was like a thing that they had. It was like the Nintendo Love Machine or Love Tester. It was like this weird product that they sold for a while where it would just like, I'm trying to remember how it worked, but you would put your hand or it would like somehow test like your sexiness or like try to match you up with people. I don't remember how it worked exactly.
Yeah, you held it and it measured your body temperature, and based on how hot you were internally, it would like fill up a meter. The like lowest being like cold dead fish, and the top being like Fabio.
Yeah,
it's kind of like
it's this was during that weird period of Nintendo, like right before they started really getting into games, where they were releasing all kinds of weird crap.
Yeah. It's kind of like the technology is a stupid word for this, but behind a mood ring.
Yeah,
basically.
Huh. Well, thank you for teaching me that.
Yeah, no problem. That's why I came on the show.
All right. So,
show's over now.
I can only learn one thing a day. I've peaked. All right, Goro Majima. Wow, another surprising pick. Yakuza in a Smash Brothers game, but why not? It's crazier things have happened, so that's your number 2.
Yeah, if they can get Bayonetta in, they can get anyone in.
That is true. Bayonetta, and I think Bayonetta and Cloud are kind of the two that like really broke me as characters of like, no way.
Well, Bayonetta especially, because she's like, I mean, despite Bayonetta 2 being a Wii U exclusive, she's a very sexy woman, and Smash is a very kiddie game, so that always caught me off guard.
And she uses guns.
And kills angels.
Well, there's been guns
viscerally
in all
kills them.
There's been guns in all of the Smash Bros, though, right?
I don't think like guns,
yeah,
like
not
laser
straight
guns.
Pistols.
Yeah, like
I thought there was a
probably...
shotgun in one.
No, I think Fox is the only one that uses a firearm that I can think of.
The
and
closest we got was Solid Snake, who had like a mortar.
Oh, that's true.
yeah.
Yeah, Snake. Yeah, but yeah, he didn't use a gun.
That was another.
He choked people out.
Yeah, he did do that.
That was another
always...
person I wanted to put on my list until I realized he was already on it.
Yeah, it's solid. The animation of Solid Snake like choking out characters always cracked me up in Brawl. Like just him putting Mario to sleep. Okay, so there we go, Goro Majima. So my number 2 is kind of taking it back to the down to earth a little bit with a Nintendo pick that I think could happen, and that is Yarn Kirby from Kirby's Epic Yarn. I have not played every Kirby game, mostly because it feels like there's 127 of them, but I've played a fair amount of them, and Epic Yarn is by far my favorite Kirby game. It is, if you've never played it, it was on the Wii, came out in 2010, and it's just like a Yarn version of Kirby, but it plays. It's the most like hardcore platformer that series has ever gotten, which is weird to say for that game because you can't actually die, but they have a great reward system where you're trying to get coins or gems or whatever to the end to like increase your level, and if you get hit you lose your gems like Sonic style. But I think that Yarn Kirby would work really well, kind of in the vein of like having 2 Links in Smash, but would be better because Toon Link is it's pretty much, he has the same moveset as regular Link. I think there's just tweaks in terms of like damage or effectiveness, but they have the same movesets. Whereas Yarn Kirby is completely different from Kirby because Yarn Kirby does not have Kirby's sucking ability, his inhaling power, because he's Yarn. He doesn't have a body. So Epic Yarn plays very differently from other Kirbys, where instead he has a lasso made out of the yarn, and he uses that to hook onto enemies and pull them apart because everything's made out of fabric, so he just unravels them, and he also uses it to like unzip things. Like there'll be like big zippers in the wall that you unzip, and it'll open up a door to another part of the world. So I think that would be really cool for Smash Brothers because his lasso could be used to like grab people from a distance and maybe like, throw them around, or like maybe like kind of like maybe spin them the way he would unravel dudes, and maybe able to like stun them and make them dizzy. I think it would also be a great recovery move if you're falling. Like he could just swing it to grab the edge of a surface and pull himself back up. Visually he would look cool and really distinctive. And also to kind of go back to a stage, like a Kirby Epic Yarn stage would be so cool. Like visually that game is one of my favorite games to look at, and I'm just picturing like a yarn stage where like all the platforms are made out of fabric that can shift and change throughout the fight, and maybe you can manipulate. Like if you could just pull zippers and suddenly like a platform would just kind of like fall apart and people would die or something like that. And also you could do a palette swap for Kirby to pick Prince Fluff, who was the other playable protagonist, because it was a 2-player co-op game.
Oh, so you're sneaking another one in there.
Well, it would technically be one. So kind of like how Smash 4 included the Koopalings with Bowser Jr. As palette swaps, it would kind of be the same vein of like kind of like getting 2 characters with one. And it would work because Prince Fluff plays identically to Kirby in that game, since he's supposed to be like the second character. So like if you're a Prince Fluff fan, you can just pick him instead.
I know. There's a very vocal Prince Fluff community out there.
Prince Fluff's pretty cool. He's blue. He's got a crown. He's got attitude.
He's fluffy.
He talks. He was like the prince with some tude. Kind of countered Kirby's innocence. He's like, well, what happened to my kingdom, man? And, who are you? And he's like an endearing Sonic.
So the opposite of Sonic.
Basically, because he's like, oh, this guy's got some moxie, but he's not like obnoxious about it.
Right.
So, but yeah, I think Yarn Kirby has enough creativity and difference to make him, a clone character, but not a clone character. Like he is a better version of what Toon Link is to me. So, yeah, I want to see him in the next Smash Brothers.
Okay.
Yeah. You guys play? Any thoughts? You guys play Epic Yarn at all, or?
Nope.
I played a little bit of it at an E3 a while back, but haven't played the full game.
Okay, I recommend it. It's pretty great. One of the Wii's finest.
Yeah.
Okay, Jack.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with I feel like Capcom and Nintendo have a pretty good relationship, and I think that they should have a little bit of a throwback to a franchise I feel ended all too soon. Beautiful Joe.
I love me some Beautiful Joe.
I think Beautiful Joe should be a playable character in Smash. And, like, just think about it. He'd have his Joe form, where he can, do some basic attacks, or maybe he can power up to become Beautiful Joe. And he has a more powerful set of moves, but he can only stay in that form for a certain amount of time before he changes back. You could do a lot of really fun things with Beautiful Joe. And I feel like two games on console and then like one mobile game weren't really enough for Joe, and really we should be bringing him back into the next Smash Brothers as a playable character. You could even make some like witty kind of fourth wall breaking jokes, and I feel like that would be that would just be all around neat. Like in the adventure mode, Joe could just be like jumping into a TV during while video games are playing, like he jumped into the movies. And I don't know. I think that would be a whole lot of fun. Like, he's basically already made for a Smash Brothers game anyway, so half the work's already done.
Yeah, and they have the benefit of maybe, because he appeared in Marvel vs. Capcom 3 as a fighter, you could kind of look at that as a template of like how to make him a fighting character.
Right, exactly.
So that's actually a really good pick, and I'm kind of upset I didn't think about that, because I'm a huge Beautiful Joe fan. I would love a third game in that series.
Yeah,
just thinking about him, he would actually be perfect in Smash Brothers.
And like you could bill it to Capcom as like, oh, this could be a way to test the waters to see if he's a really popular character. Have one of those personalized trailers that we did for like Bayonetta and Cloud and Ryu.
Yeah. And you could do the cool thing of, like, again, going back to palette swap, maybe his palette swap could be Sylvia.
Yeah, a palette swap for Sylvia, a palette swap for the
dark
former
guy?
The former Beautiful Joe.
Captain. The fat guy.
Yeah.
His idol. Oh, man.
That'd be awesome.
Or, like, what was the Alistair? The, like, Dark Joe with the wings?
Yeah.
With the sword? Yeah.
Maybe you could even sneak Dante in there, too.
The Joe version of Dante. I forgot about that. Captain Blue. I just remembered his
Captain
name.
Blue.
There it is. Man, that's a good pick.
Just saying. I feel like that would be a winner.
Okay. Nice. He's gonna be kind of hard to beat. Alrighty. Beautiful Joe. Let's see. Round 3. Blake, what do you got to counter Beautiful Joe?
Well, unfortunately, I think it's my safest bet yet, and I would be shocked if he didn't make it into Smash Bros. And that is, of course, Marcus Fenix.
Oh, okay. Yeah, absolutely. That would be completely.
And I'll tell you why. There's really only one reason, and I just want to see Mario cut in half by a Lancer.
Oh, so you're being serious?
Oh, no.
Yeah, I was being serious.
What's funny is that the only way that this would work, or that would happen, is I feel like Phil Spencer would just be like, sure, why not?
Yeah.
Because he seems kind of cool about cross-platform promotion. So, like, I don't know, like with the Banjo-Kazooie thing that was that news story breaking out recently, where he's just like, he more or less offered, like, hey, you guys can use Banjo if you want for the next Smash. Like, if they came up to him like, hey, we think we want to use Marcus Fenix, he'd just be like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, you brought up Yarn Kirby earlier, or Yarn Yoshi, sorry. And,
no, Yarn Kirby.
Oh, yeah, one of them. One of those Yarn dudes. And how just disturbing would it be to see Marcus cut him in half and just all the stuffing inside come out?
Oh, that'd be horrifying.
Oh my god.
Well, look, the Smash Bros. Games have been playing it too safe lately, and I really think Marcus Fenix is what could really toss things up over there at Nintendo.
Would he would he take cover a lot? behind things?
I think he wouldn't really need to because he has the gun and just like no one would get close to him and he would just shoot them from like all the way off. He would be crazy OP.
If he's
crazy
like,
OP,
if he's about to die, like if his percentage is really high, is he just screaming, "Revive me"?
Yeah. Exactly.
Like limping
yeah.
around the stage.
Yeah, exactly.
He has an emote that says "Anya."
His ultimate move would be. Do they have ultimate moves in Smash Bros? I only play like the one on N64, so I'm really behind on all this stuff.
They
all have
yeah.
crazy finishing moves, pretty flashy.
Okay, he would do the thing where he shoots the laser from the satellite that's in all the Gears of War, and it would just obliterate the
Hammer of
entire
Dawn?
stage. Yeah, the Hammer of Dawn. He would just do that, and then everyone would die, and he would win.
That would probably be the one for him.
Like I said, really safe choice. It's probably going to happen.
It's probably going to be like after the Splatoon characters, he'll be the next one, to be revealed. Obviously.
Yeah, I think it's surprising that they're going for a hard M rating on this next Smash Bros. Just to get Marcus Fenix.
Yeah, like
in.
first Jack came in and now him. Like, man, they really want chainsaws in this game. They're going to get a chainsaw duel with each other.
Oh, that would be really cool because in Gears of War, you do have the chainsaw duels.
Exactly. Like if the player that's Jack goes against the player that's Marcus and they hit chainsaw at the same time and it opens up the Gears mini game where they're both just pressing B or
Marcus,
whatever.
I feel like you're maybe talking about something you want to have happen in real life, and I just want to preventatively say I do not want to have a chainsaw fight with you.
Well, I mean, you might not have a choice.
Oh,
if I come at you with a chainsaw, then
if you come at me with a chainsaw, I'm running.
Wait, what's the guy's name from Mad World?
Jack.
Oh, that's really funny, and you're Marcus and Jack.
Oh crap, that's right. I just thought.
Yeah, that's why I brought it up.
Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah, sorry. I guess I'm better than you. Is Marcus Fenix better than Jack Kamen? I guess.
Well, I've played
I don't know.
Gears of
It's
War,
not,
and I haven't
you
played
didn't
Mad
nominate
World.
Gears of War, yeah.
If we're looking at series success, I got 5 games to your 1.
I mean, sometimes you only need one. And why are you making the argument against your pick, Marcus?
He has my name, and there aren't very many video game characters named Marcus, so I tend to really hold the ones that are out there to my chest. They should really do a Rushmore of Marcus characters so that all 4 of them can just automatically make it.
Too late now.
Exactly. You got Marcus Fenix, Marcus from True Crime New York's character. There's I think the protagonist of Watch Dogs 2 is named Marcus.
He is,
if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
You could nominate yourself because, like, iToys and all that, you know.
That's true. Marcus from Borderlands.
Yep.
There it is. The most me-centric show ever. Finally. Okay, so Marcus Fenix, not a joke, legit pick. And who knows, he might make it on the mountain to really solidify it. He could carve himself up there with his chainsaw.
Yeah, I didn't come here to make jokes, okay?
No, you're serious business. You're like, this is...
I've also just Googled video game characters named Marcus. It doesn't look like there's a lot, to be honest.
Exactly. That's why I have to support Marcus by default. So, alrighty. So, my third pick is a character that I personally... Not just the character himself, but a series that I think is long overdue for representation in Smash Brothers, given that it has a pretty rich history with Nintendo platforms, especially early on. And my third pick is Simon Belmont from Castlevania.
Oh, that's really good.
I love me some Castlevania. It's one of my favorite series, and I've always been a little bit baffled that they've never tapped that well for Smash Brothers, because there's so much you could pull from with that series. Simon would be, because Simon's kind of of the 900 Belmonts, he's the Belmont. Like, he is the one you associate with that series. He's been in the most games, I believe. He was the first Belmont in those first few Castlevanias on like the NES and the Super Nintendo. And I think as a character, he would work really well. One, because he's already kind of a side-scrolling character, so he would work on that 2D plane. His whip would be a fantastic weapon, especially if if they use the whip from Super Castlevania 4, where to this day it's still the best whip they've ever done in any Castlevania, where he can whip in like 6 different directions, so you can just hit like people diagonally up and down. And then they should also, just as a cool nod for fans, have the thing where if you hold the attack button and just wiggle the stick, the whip just kind of behaves weird, and it can hit people if you get close, but it's kind of useless. But if they just put that in there just as a cool nod to that game, that would be fantastic. And I think they would, because Smash Bros. Is pretty good about those deep cuts for their characters. And also, he would, kind of like Mega Man, he would be fantastic for his other kind of like side weapons, because Castlevania is known for its side weapons. So he could have the axe, he could have the cross, the like potion that makes the flames come on the ground, the knife that you just kind of throw forward. Like he has such a deep arsenal of weapons that he would, there's a lot you could do with him. And a Castlevania stage, like, oh my god, how cool would that be? Like, just
yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah, like they have so many games, like just so many different versions of like Dracula's Castle they could pull from. And personally, even though it wasn't on a Nintendo platform, if they took the Symphony of the Night stage, and if the stage did the cool thing, like if maybe at some point during the stage, if it flipped on its head and became inverted, like in Symphony, and then like, everybody had to kind of like, like it just changes the platforms around, so like, it gets harder to navigate. I think that would be a cool nod. But even just having stuff like maybe like bats flying around, like those annoying gargoyle heads that kind of like fly in that serpentine pattern that are pretty much just there to screw up your jumps. If they had those coming across the stage and just mess you up as you're trying to leap around, or like just the zombies or just other enemies popping up in the stage, and then maybe every now and then like Dracula could show up, or maybe again another Symphony nod. If there would be like, in my head I would picture once in a blue moon Death would show up and target one character and just like take all of his life, like kind of like in the beginning of Symphony when Alucard, because you start Symphony out with Alucard having all like full powered, just tearing it up through the castle, and then you meet Death and he takes all your items away, and that kind of like starts the game. So like if they kind of brought that back and translated the Smash Bros, it's like he just targets one character and all of a sudden they have like their percentage just goes up to like 200 or something like that.
You really put a lot of thought into this pick, didn't you?
I've wanted Simon for a long time, so I've had time to think about it. But I think that kind of speaks to how well he would translate, both he and the series would translate to Smash Brothers.
Okay, and that's fair.
Yeah, let's do it. And I want to hear that soundtrack. Castlevania has an amazing sound. I want to hear Bloody Tears as I'm smashing people off the stage. So.
Well, in my head, I'm seeing it also as kind of a, like, I think it'd be really cool if you got like the 8-bit, or not the 8-bit, the 16-bit version of that stage.
Like Super Castlevania 4.
Yeah, like it's done up in that retro style instead of the new fancy looking stuff.
Quote unquote new. I mean, Symphony was still 16-bit, but I see what you're saying. Especially if you have either of you played Super Castlevania 4 at all?
Mm-mm.
Nope.
Okay, like if they just straight up took backgrounds from that stage, and like that stage had like the kind of like faux, like I don't know, mode 7 or whatever, but like there's like one segment where you're like crossing a like this series of platforms, and like the stage is spinning around you, like the background, and I guess it's kind of supposed to look like you're in a cylinder, but it's like the best they could do at the time. But if they just straight up had that like antiquated effect in a Smash stage, I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah,
kind of like again how they like in the last game where they straight up took the Duck Hunt stage and just made that a stage. Like, just the Duck Hunt screen is a stage.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking in my head.
So, yeah.
Nope.
Simon Belmont.
Yeah, Simon Belmont. So, my pick, which I know might be... This one is probably the least likely of my picks to happen. Annie and Clint from Wild Guns.
Oh.
I don't even know what that is.
I know Wild Guns, but I don't know any of the characters.
So Wild Guns was this like co-op shooter game that came out in the back in the day. It was basically like an on-rails shooter for the Super Nintendo and Genesis, and it was really, really fun, and you could play co-op with player 1 was Clint and player 2 was Annie, and they were just these gun-toting, awesome heroes, heroines, and yeah, I mean that was about the extent of me thinking that through, is that they would be really cool to have like these like basically like the ice climbers.
So they would be like on screen together, like as one character?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they'd have to do their moves in tandem, and I think that could be really fun and interesting. But that was about the extent of how much I thought through that pick. It was just kind of like, I've always wanted to see them in more games and more stuff, so I got super excited when the remastered version of that game came out. So,
okay, when did that happen?
Last year, sometime.
Was it 3DS or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll have to look into that.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Wild Guns. You really going for the deep cut.
Yeah.
Okay, so final round. So Blake, who's your final pick?
So I want to throw a curveball, and this isn't necessarily
Marcus Fenix wasn't a curveball.
This isn't necessarily a playable character, but you know how in Smash you fight that big hand?
Yes.
Yeah, Master Hand.
So I want to pitch a crazy crossover boss.
Okay.
And that is Dark Beast Parl from Bloodborne.
Okay. You're swinging for the fences. Here.
Look, another safe bet, I think, kind of a softball there for Nintendo. I'd be surprised if it didn't happen. I want none of the difficulty changed. I want it to be as difficult as it is in Bloodborne. And I just want to see what it would be like if Link or Bayonetta or Mario... Like, the whole thing about Smash Bros. Is like playing with action figures, right? You're like slamming your G.I. Joes against your Barbies and making stories out of it, right? So
yeah.
I feel like the video game equivalent of that, it's like, what the hell is Fox McCloud going to do against Dark Beast Parl?
Huh. So you're pitching him as like a boss, right? Like not a playable.
Yeah.
Like
so
if you play like whatever Smash 5's story mode is gonna be.
Well, no. He's a boss, but then you unlock him, and then every time you use him, like if you play as him, you can just one hit every character, and then the match is over.
Oh my god!
I put a lot of thought into this, guys.
Just he's strong. He might be unbalanced just a little bit.
It rewards the player for beating him. I mean, like, I'd have to assume that would be the hardest boss in Smash Brothers history. So if a player can best him with fucking Mario jumping on his head, like, why would you not reward them with this crazy strong character?
Like, what if Mario threw Cappy? Because let's be honest, I would be shocked if Mario didn't have Cappy in the next Smash and could possess people. Like, what if he could take over the Dark Beast Pal?
Yeah, but
and then it's just that monster with a Mario cap and a mustache.
If he's just fighting him one-on-one, though, what would he do? Just like jump off the side and commit suicide?
I mean, it works for Donkey Kong and Kirby.
Yeah, I guess that's a fair point. That's a fair point.
He's been watching his opponents. He's like, hey, that's a valid strategy.
Yeah.
And again, Cappy will survive. He'll just fly off at the last minute.
Sure.
Or actually, Mario could just, if it's like Mario Odyssey, he could just jump out because you could suicide people in that game.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
do that all the time, actually. So yeah, actually, that is a completely valid strategy that has been proven to work both in and out of Smash Brothers.
Also, I have to admit, I've not played Bloodborne, and I had to Google hardest Bloodborne bosses, and then I just picked the one that looked the scariest, and it was this motherfucker, this Dark Beast Parl. This dude is horrifying.
To be fair, Dark Souls is about to come out for Switch, so there is a From Software Nintendo relationship.
Every time, Marcus Fenix notwithstanding, I thought all of these were going to be so off the wall, and then they all seem to be like, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, like they're making an amiibo for Dark Souls, which in itself is still kind of like I have to like pinch myself like that's an actual thing that's happening.
I have to imagine probably in all being realistic, the like Dark Souls knight or whatever. Is there like a main protagonist in Dark Souls? You create your character, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
There-
but I could
could
that
see
is-
like a player character, some kind of composite of that being in Smash Bros.
you know, if that From relationship goes any further, then why not?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, I'm trying to think of like how he would play. Like, would his attacks be as deliberate as they are in the Souls games? Like, you have to like really judge your swings against a character, and
Well,
if you miss, you just
I think they would be like super slow, so you would take a lot of damage while you're trying to like swing your sword around. But if you connect with a character, like the trade-off is you just like fuck him up real hard.
like he's the only fighter in the game with a stamina meter. The character has to monitor. Like every time they run around the map and attack, he can get tired and be like open to attack. He's like he is the expert level fighter of like no he's the real fighter if you're a real player.
If you do damage to him and he hits you quick enough, he can regain a little bit of his health.
He can set up a bonfire to restore his health to full, but it takes a while, so you have to like find a spot in the map where you can just do it real quick while everyone's busy fighting each other. Actually, I think I kind of want this.
Yeah. It's actually starting to sound like a good idea.
Actually,
I
and
told
likely
you, I
because
really-
of Dark Souls.
I told you, I really thought out my answers.
So, do you want to stick with Dark Beast Pal, or do you want to just go
Dark Beast
Dark Souls character fighter?
Dark Beast Parl seems cooler because it's got like the whole dual element of being a boss. You know, you're gonna hit your head against that for a while, finally learn how to kill it, and then you get the most OP character in Smash Bros. History.
Why not? The series can't get any more ridiculous, so that's all right. Dark Beast Pal, got him. Sweet. Okay, so my last pick is alongside Simon Belmont is a character that I think most will agree should have been in the game a long time ago, and I think now it's his time. It's his year, or at least it could be his year.
I
if
feel
he
like
gets
you're
to be
going
in the
somewhere
game.
ridiculous with this.
I don't think it's ridiculous at all, because my last pick is Waluigi.
Yeah.
Waluigi in the game, damn it.
Has he never been in a Smash Bros?
Only
No,
as like a
he's been in
summon
a
thing.
He's been an assist, so it's like a summon that'll come help you out. Like he'll come in and like stomp on dudes.
Wow.
But like he's never been a playable character. He's like the only major Mario character that of note that isn't in the game already, because like Wario is in there, Luigi, like Rosalina and Luma were in the last game. They were in 2 games, and they're in the game. And Waluigi can't get a break. He's always just playing the assist. And I think it's time. I think you can ditch Rosalina and Luma for this next game and replace them with Waluigi, because he'd be hilarious.
I can't believe he hasn't already been in one.
Isn't it? It's a travesty,
Yeah.
right? It's an absolute crime.
It is a
I think
crime.
It's his time. The Waluigi fans have been begging for this. We all know it's a very sizable fan base. I think in the same way that he should get his own game in general, like if he can't get that, at the very least he should have a spot in the roster so that he can team up with Wario, and they can just wreak havoc on everyone in Smash Brothers. And I can't even imagine what like his final Smash would be, but I just know that his moveset would just be hilarious. And God, I just want to pick him and just troll people with him and just hear his dumb little laugh.
It sounds like you're really infatuated with this Waluigi character.
I think
I just want to hear him laugh and see him
he's
troll
got a great-
people with those
Does he
dreamy
not have
eyes.
a great laugh? Doesn't he? He has, like it's a great laugh.
I feel like
And-
I do feel like he's a misunderstood character. I don't think he's evil. I think he just randomly gets himself into situations with bad friends.
Yeah, I mean he's like Wario. Like Wario's not evil. He's just really greedy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that could be evil, Marcus.
But I mean, like he's not trying to take over the world. He just wants like stuff. You know, he's not like Bowser that's like trying to dominate everybody.
I feel like Bowser
Yeah,
just wants to be loved. Like that's
yeah,
his
but he
his
also
main
wants to
thing.
enslave the Mushroom Kingdom. Like he's always just destroying their crap, and like actively trying to he's basically staging a coup because he keeps kidnapping the like authority figure of that world and then actively trying to kind of like assert his own regime on the kingdom while forcing himself to marry.
I mean, that's just because he's misunderstood.
Because he would gain more power. He's like, it's like a arranged marriage of like, like when two rulers rule each other to like strengthen their like authority or whatever. Like it's kind of that. It's Game of Thrones, basically. It's like Game of Thrones. Bowser is a Game of Thrones character.
Now there's a think piece for you.
Yeah, that's my new op-ed coming. Like Bowser is basically a Game of Thrones character.
I expect to see that within a week.
Look out for it. So yeah, Waluigi. I don't think I have to say much for him. I think the fan base will agree with me that the purple plumber deserves his time to shine.
He does.
So, take us home, Jack. Who is your fourth and final pick?
My fourth and final pick, I'm really kind of going back to the well of retro heroes that I feel haven't had their time in the sun, and I feel like if Kid Icarus can get a game, why can't Balloon Fight Guy? Balloon Fight Guy deserves to be like the joke character of the next Super Smash Bros. And he should be the Mr. Game & Watch of that game.
Ooh,
and just kind of be the trolley character who's not really that good, but is just kind of there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's about it. Like he should be able to float around and kind of like do his little arm flap thing to fly higher. And like other characters should be able to pop his balloons, and then when he loses all of his balloons, he's land bound and he can't fly anymore, and he only gets like one.
Would he just be
jump.
completely useless on the land? Like if he's on the ground, would he just suck?
Well, yeah. Like the idea would be he'd be at his best while he's flying around, but then when he's on land, like he loses access to like his like powerful moves, his good stuff.
Can you get his balloon back, or are you just done?
Like maybe if you get a kill, one of his balloons comes back.
Okay. Like
he turns his foes into latex bubbles, fills them with helium.
Yeah, I mean he kills Kirby and then repurposes Kirby's very kind of like stretchy body. It's already been proven to hold a lot of air.
Well, and his enemies that he slays to make them into balloons turn into like they're personified in the balloons that he gets back. So like you could theoretically have like a Kirby balloon, like an inflatable Mario balloon. It'd be like super horrific but also really cute. And then his finishing his smash move would just be he finally get upgrades into a hot air balloon and just like rains down destruction on the world.
Okay. Wow.
I don't know. I'm just spitballing here.
Huh. Okay.
His stage wouldn't have any land.
Would his stage... So, like, I would picture his stage to kind of be like the Donkey Kong stage in the last game, where it's just a working game of balloon fight, but, like, you're just fighting in it. In the way that the Donkey Kong stage was just Donkey Kong, but you're just in it.
Yeah. Yeah, like... I mean, kind of like how they had that Mario 3 stage in like all of them, where it's just kind of scrolling along.
Oh, the one that was in Brawl. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Why not? Yeah. So yeah, it'd be hard to like. It'd be like that mixed with like a Star Fox stage where it's a lot of trying to not fall, basically.
Right. Exactly.
Like you're just jumping from platforms or balloons or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah. You get it.
Okay. Wow, okay. Yeah, why not? Balloon Fight, man.
Love
Again,
it.
I don't think... Does he have an intricate lore that we don't know about, too?
I don't know. Blake
Perhaps,
has to be on that one. I can't speak to the Balloon Fight guy.
Lore Master Blake.
One sec. Let's see. Balloon Fight.
It's going to be like a thing where like he got his pilot's license and that leads the pilot wings.
His name is actually Hidetaka Goro, and he has a day job as a bicycle repairman.
More surprising, Balloon Fight, at least the original one. When did that come out? Whatever, the 80s one. No story. Not a story at all.
That's disappointing.
Oh, wait. Hold on. There's a Game Boy Advance game.
Seriously? All right.
I didn't even know there was a GBA.
I'm glad
game.
they tried to revive it.
There was also a game that came out, a balloon fight game that came out for the Nintendo e-reader. It's pretty interesting.
Oh yes, that thing, that famous.
What
yeah,
was
the
that?
famous-
I don't remember that at all. That has
Let's
blurred
see.
into the history of my brain.
It was an add-on for the Game Boy Advance. It was released in Japan in December 2001 with a North America release in 2002. It read e-reader cards, paper cards, especially encoded data printed on them. And as it looks like, there was not many games for it. There was a
That's not
Pokemon game and an Animal Crossing game.
Huh.
There were multiple Pokemon games. Actually, Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire in some capacity appeared to come to it, as well as Pokemon Coliseum.
Huh.
There you go.
And the E3 2002 promo pack, baby.
Oh yeah.
All right. So there it is, everyone. The lineage of Balloon Fight, and in turn, the Nintendo e-reader. Maybe the e-reader should be an item in Smash Brothers. Like, I don't know what you would do with it, but
That was
You're
my
weird.
So
fifth
should the
pick,
Love Machine.
but
oh man, like the Love Machine is like it comes out of the it's the big ball that floats up that drops all the crap. Like the party ball. I don't know what Japanese party ball. I don't know what they're called, but yeah,
I
like
believe
that thing
they're
is just
Tengu eggs.
Tengu eggs. Okay.
What are you?
Yeah,
What
like-
is a party ball? What are you talking about?
Like, you know, in Smash, the
Oh,
the
yeah,
big
okay.
yellow orb that,
Yeah, okay.
Like, I know that's a Japanese thing, like a party thing. I just don't know the name of it, but apparently that's what it's called.
Okay.
So there you go. Alrighty, so there it is. We've got our list of potential competitors, and please let me know if I've missed anyone, because I was writing these down relatively late. So I may have missed one, but I'm not sure. So we've got 2B from Nier Automata, or Automata. We've got Jack Kamen from Mad World. We've got Dig Dug Man, also known as Taizo, whatever his last name was.
Glad you were paying attention.
Yes, I mean, I'm still getting over the fact that he has a name. We've got Goro Majima of the Yakuza series. We've got Yarn Kirby from Kirby's Epic Yarn. We've got Marcus Fenix from Gears of War. Simon Belmont from Castlevania. Jack, what are the Wild Gun people again?
Annie and Clint.
Clint and Annie from Wild Gun. We've got Dark Beast Pal from Bloodborne. Waluigi from Mario. And Balloon Fight Man from Balloon Fight. Am I missing any?
I think that was it.
Jack, did I get all of yours?
Beautiful Joe.
Beautiful Joe. I was like, I feel like I'm missing one. Okay, that was the one I'm missing. Beautiful Joe of Beautiful Joe. So, there it is. So, we're going to take a quick break, and then coming up, the gloves are going to be on, or maybe the gloves are coming off. I don't know. We'll see how hard this fight's going to be, but it's going to be a real brawl. We're going to be tearing each other up, and we're going to send... Hey, just let it slide. Let it slide. And we're going to be seeing some characters flying off screen until there's only 4 left standing. We'll be right back.
Ba-dum-bum-bum-bum.
No matter how they toss the dice, it had to be the only one for me is you. Happy together.
Something's gone wrong in the happy-go-lucky world of Nintendo. Introducing Super Smash Bros., where all your favorite characters go toe-to-toe in one 4-player star-studded slam fest. Only on Nintendo 64.
Welcome back. It's time to smash. It's time to throw people off stages. It's time to throw pokeballs. It's time to unleash the chain chops.
Duel.
Nope.
Okay. Oh,
Nope. Not this podcast. No, we don't talk about Yu-Gi-Oh on this podcast.
That's
Sorry.
unfortunate.
Just Wrong show.
Okay.
Sorry. Yugi's not in this
All right.
game. That'd be ridiculous.
Dang it! I should have nominated Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm such a fool. I am such a fool.
Okay, King of Games, you are not.
No, I'm not. All my suggestions were
God,
bad.
God damn it, now that you brought it up. Quick aside, and I should probably tell, I think, was it Alex that was going to watch all the Yu-Gi-Oh stuff? Our friend Alex, shout out to him. They just added the rest of the seasons of Yu-Gi-Oh on Netflix, so the whole show's there now.
Awesome.
So you don't have to go to Hulu or that other site. You can just watch it on Netflix.
Shout out to Yu-Gi-Oh!
Shout out to Yu-Gi-Oh! Get your game on. That's a different Yu-Gi-Oh!
What play?
That's it. Anyways, we have a list of potential Super Smash Bros. Fighters that we would like to see in the upcoming Switch version. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 combatants. They are about to throw down. Like, picture this next part as all of these characters in a giant Smash Brothers stage, not unlike maybe the Great Cave Offensive from the last game, just really big and elaborate. And they're going to be punching each other in the face. And by that, I mean it's going to be us. Or, like, maybe picture them, like, the stage is like a giant podcasting arena. And then...
A podcasting arena?
Yeah, hear me out. Like, they're all in this podcast arena, and then the three of us are, like... We're, like, watching them. Like, our giant, like, godlike heads are at the top of the screen. And we're going to be saying things about the characters, and they're going to be, like, onomatopoeia style, like, written insults, like, physical insults. And, like, the character that takes the most damage goes flying off the screen. Because we voted them off. We talk so much crap about them that's how they get eliminated.
Marcus, that was a real, really, like... I'm trying to think of the right word to describe. I'm trying to think of that.
Brilliant?
Yeah, like brilliant and also like vague and strange, and I dig it. I need you to explain to me what a podcasting arena is, because that's what I'm really hung up on right now.
It would be a bunch of microphones that scatter the stage, and periodically the stage charges you $14 to host it.
Oh, that's the least great part of podcasting made into arena form. All right, I can dig it.
There it is. So, how to kick this off? I think, do we want to start with like a home run? Does anyone feel like they have like a home run of a character, or is there anyone that you feel could be cut immediately? Feel free to. Opening arguments are now open.
Okay, I feel like right out the bat, Simon Belmont is a shoo-in. I feel like that's really that he's a character who should be in Smash Brothers, and it's not something I nominated, and I feel like I agree with it wholeheartedly.
I agree. I think he should be in the game. Why isn't he in the game? What do you think, Blake? Do you have an argument against Simon, or a character that you think could kind of?
No, I think Simon makes a lot of sense. I would be okay with cutting 2B. I didn't really have a good case for her either way.
Oh wow! I thought 2B would stick around. I think I could kind of see her over some of the other ones.
2B
honestly.
or not 2B, though? That is the question. I'm so smart and educated.
Man, I'm gonna have to cut her now just because of that. I don't know. Even though 2B's not my pick, I feel like I could take her over like at least maybe two of these other ones. But with that note, let's just go ahead and just get Simon on the wall if we're all unanimous on that. So yeah, Simon Belmont, you've done it. You've conquered Dracula, and now you've conquered Carving Gaming Rushmores. Well done, good sir. Your family will be proud of you. How about I think Beautiful Joe is a really strong one too.
I agree.
There are other I'm trying to. There are a few other characters on here that could rival him, but he's one that sticks out to me looking at this list of like that would be really cool. And I hesitate to find a flaw, like any sort of like gameplay flaw or stage flaw with him. And I think a lot of that has to do with him appearing in a fighting game already, so I kind of have like an idea of how he could work in that that genre.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
guess.
and I feel like his art style already kind of lends itself to, like to a game like Smash
2B?
Brothers. No, not 2B. 2B or not 2B.
You're just gonna keep saying it, aren't you? Until it becomes funny. Is that what it's gonna be?
I mean, it's pretty funny. Yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah,
it's
I think
pretty
Beautiful.
Pretty good joke.
Just gonna let the silence hang there.
I
for a
think
bit.
Beautiful Joe makes sense, especially like I know it's not a platinum game, but like it has that same lineage as Bayonetta, so it feels kind of like a shoe in there.
Yeah, Platinum was kind of from the ashes of Clover Studios, who developed Beautiful Joe. Yeah, let's get Joe up there. Let's make our mountain beautiful. So it's hey, it's better than 2B
Whoa.
or not 2B.
Well, I don't know, because I'm pretty sure her name being 2B, that was the whole reference.
No, I refuse. What if it was 9S instead of 2B?
No, 2B's cooler. I think 2B's more iconic.
No, you're right. I was just I was putting that out there to see if anyone would actually agree.
Well,
9S is a little bit of a whiny.
Well, I don't know. I think
Dude.
9S
I
might
mean,
be the better character. I was just thinking in
mean-
terms of marketability, 2B would probably be the better fit.
I could see 2B's final smash. Maybe he would show up to help, kind of like Shulk's final smash in the last game, where like the other Xenoblade characters show up. Maybe
No way.
9S.
It would have to
Huh?
be Emil that showed up.
Oh my god, that would be oh man. See, now I want to be in a game. Just like he should be like an assist where like he comes in on his wagon with his dumb song
that's what I was
playing, and then
thinking.
like he gives the players like stuff.
Or he just
And, like,
runs
or-
over the other characters with the wagon.
Yeah, or if you like hit him too many times, it triggers that boss fight, that like the secret boss fight in
Right.
Nier.
Yeah.
Oh man, that just rose 2B stock a bit. But okay, I don't know about you guys, but I think she shouldn't be cut just yet.
Okay.
I mean, she's your pick.
No. Let's
but,
keep her on
I
there.
mean, okay, so far confirmed we've got Simon Belmont and Beautiful Joe.
We can cut Marcus Fenix.
You want to make that sacrifice?
It's really difficult because it seems like it's such a natural fit for Smash Bros, but I think I gotta let it go.
If
Fine,
a
mark
lot
it.
more of if a few more of the characters were chainsaw based, I feel like it would work better.
Sure.
It's just not enough. Unless Jack made it, then
Jack feels
So I
too
think-
violent.
Yeah, I feel like
I
we
mean,
could
so
cut
does
Jack,
Marcus,
too.
but
yeah, I feel like Jack's. I mean, that is like I said. I think that might be the one thing that holds Jack back. Otherwise, I think everything else about like him and like what his universe could bring to the game would be really
I mean,
cool.
I agree, and I don't want to shortchange Marcus either because I feel like Marcus brings a lot to his respective universe as well. So, nothing against either of them really. It's just they maybe just don't belong in this particular game. Maybe they belong in like a buddy cop movie or something together, or like a Running
Maybe-
Man type situation.
Yeah, or Anarchy Reigns 2, the sequel that everyone's been begging
Or
for.
in real life, maybe they'd get along and just be friends. Maybe they'd do a podcast together sometimes.
About like a chainsaw enthusiast podcast.
Or maybe they'd like share interests together. So maybe like they would do a gaming podcast together or some I don't know. I'm just spitballing ideas here. Possibilities.
I think Marcus would have lasted longer if it was Old Man Marcus from Gears 4, because old Man Marcus is pretty great.
Don't sell young Marcus short though. Like,
Oh no,
Yeah,
he's great
he's-
too. But Old Man Marcus he's got like an endearing, just extra orniness about him. Like this is the Marcus that is just tired. He's just
an
done.
extra what?
Like he like an orneriness.
Okay.
about him. Like, he's like an he. What did you think I said?
I'm just saying you should probably enunciate ornery a little bit more.
His wife is dead by the time Gears 4 takes place. So maybe he is, because he's by himself now and doesn't have anyone to,
No, explain.
except his chainsaws. That's all he's got now. He's got.
Oh man, what
he's
a
got his Lancer.
sad life you've painted for this man.
I mean, it's a pretty sad life if you played the game.
I mean, all
He
of
lives
Gears
in-
of War is
He lives in a
pretty sad.
giant mansion by himself. He's just taking care of tomatoes, and that's about it.
I
And visiting his
totally
aunt.
forgot about that.
Yeah, like he's literally, when you find him in Gears 4, he is sitting in a crappy mansion, a huge place by himself, taking care of tomatoes and occasionally visiting his dead wife's grave. That is his life.
You know, that doesn't sound... That sounds like a win in the Gears of War universe, to be honest.
And also his son, he's not on good terms with his son.
I mean, that part sucks, but I mean, to be honest, most people in the Gears of War universe don't live to be long enough to, have, like, old man hobbies like taking care of tomato plants.
That's
true.
That's a good point.
That is true. Also, old Marcus he drops one of my favorite lines of any video game character in recent memory, where he says the best thing about getting older is that you don't have to have an opinion on everything.
That kind of flies in the face of having a podcast, though, so don't listen to that, and we all
I
need
think that
opinions.
also flies in the face of most old people that have opinions on fucking everything.
Exactly. That's what makes him the best old man. He's just like, man, I ain't got time for this. Like I spent a whole life having to have thought, having to give my thought and input on things. Like I'm done.
Did he
I'm
ever
just-
give his opinions on anything?
No, he was
other
kind of
than,
following
like,
orders.
I mean, he's
Yeah.
the leader. He's kind of the guy giving out the.
I
I mean,
mean,
order's not an
opinions.
opinion, though, is it?
I mean, he's like, I think we should do this. Everyone, come along.
I
mean,
I don't know.
Seems like a stretch.
I mean, he's not. Who is he? I mean, he's taking orders from some people, but then he's like defying authority on a constant basis.
Sure.
So that means he's thinking for himself.
So he didn't make the list?
Basically, what this whole discussion comes down to is he did not make the list.
Right.
But he's gonna have to go back home to his empty house.
His house
do
is
his-
destroyed now after Gears 4.
Well, he'll have plenty of
That's
time to
true.
rebuild it now that he's out of work.
Pretty much. There's nothing else for him to do. Okay. So, Jack.
Yes.
For you have three kind of like classic game characters.
Right. And
Not all three of them are gonna make the list.
Right, I know that. I feel like I should be able to get one of them on, and I feel like the strongest one I have is Dig Dug. I feel like Balloon Fight Man has
agree.
some potential, but he hasn't had enough games. There's not enough love for Balloon Fight to really carry him through, and so I'm willing to kind of let him slide a little bit. And
The balloon fight guy?
yeah,
What about
Wait, you're going?
the one?
Oh, I thought you were ditching.
I'm
the Fight guy.
I'm ditching Balloon Fight guy. I'm just.
I feel like I would
Oh.
keep him over the
Oh really?
Super Nintendo game. What was that one?
Oh, Wild Gun.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Ain't nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody's heard of that game.
I'm ditching both Clinton Annie and also Balloon Fight Guy. I feel like the strongest case I can make is for the Dig Dug.
I thought the
Tizo.
Dig Dug level
Tizo.
idea was super cool.
Yeah. So Dig
Okay,
Dug,
so-
I feel like I can make a decent case for Dig Dug.
Sure.
Okay, so I'll cross off Balloon Fight Man and Wild Gun. I just thought a great idea in regards to Balloon Fight, like if they made a new game or if they just kind of repackaged the original game, but instead on the cover it had the tagline of "You'll float too."
Yeah.
If anyone gets what I'm referencing, listening out there, to give the game a bit of a sinister overtone.
The yeah, and Clinton Annie, I love Wild Guns. It's mostly I just brought that up as like an excuse to talk about Wild Guns.
Fair enough.
I feel like that's a great game and had a lot of potential.
Alrighty, well, the guns are gonna have to go back into the holster, I'm afraid. So, all right, so that leaves us with our updated list. So far we've got Simon Belmont and Beautiful Joe on.
Okay.
The people we have left, we've got Dig Dug Man, Goro Majima, Yarn Kirby, Waluigi, Dark Beast Pal, and that's it. So yeah, those guys. I think Dark Beast Pal isn't gonna make it.
Oh, okay, now hold on.
It's a little bit overpowered. Although granted, that was just your pitch for him. That might not be how he's implemented in the game.
That's true.
Well, no, I think I have a pretty good lock on what Nintendo would do with him, and he would be OP.
Okay.
Nintendo's all about weird balancing
Yeah, exactly.
in their games.
They really like to be unfair with their games. If you have to take
know,
them off, I get it.
I think that compared to your other pick, compared to Majima, he would be the one. I think because it's just kind of just looking at him visually, he wouldn't really fit in the game. I think he's a bit much for like kind of like Smash Brothers image, family friendly image. So like just the sight of him would probably terrify most children playing the game. And yeah, I think like that on top of like his implementation would be a bit of a hard sell compared to someone like Majima, who I think at least he would be much easier to incorporate into the roster.
Though I think I know I said I was willing to see 2B go, but I think looking at my list, she's actually the only one I would want to see stay. I don't see it.
Oh yeah, 2B's. I forgot. I don't think I said 2B, but yeah, she's still here too, and yeah, she's. To me, I think I'm in the same. I agree that she's probably your strongest option, especially now that we brought up Emil.
Yeah.
How bad I really want to see Emil in the game now.
I think I'd be okay with letting Goro go just because he feels too niche to make it into Smash Bros.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean, like,
like even after kind of like. Because Yakuza 0 has kind of really kind of blown up the series now, so...
Yeah, but I think blown up the series in, like, the echo chamber of the, like, enthusiast press, as opposed to, like, when I went to GDC, like, Yoko Taro was, like, a bona fide fucking celebrity. It was insane. I don't think Yakuza kind of has that same reach.
What if Yoko Taro was in the game instead of 2B?
You would be... probably shocked at how boring he looks as a character.
I don't want to see his face. Like, just keep his dumb helmet on, and have him like lie on a couch and
drink, just drink a lot.
Yeah, just drink. He's just like really useless as a character, but he's funny.
Talk about girls he thinks are pretty.
Yep, this is his whole moveset. He's just all the other characters are just kind of like off put by him.
He's a weird dude.
He is eccentric, to say the least.
I don't know if he's eccentric as opposed to just weird. Like, nothing about him.
You could say eccentric is kind of a nice way to say weird.
Well, eccentric strikes me as someone who's like really garish and over the top, you know? He's just like a dude.
I mean, he wears a really over the top headpiece.
Yeah, but like
all the time.
That's like
public.
Driving a really nice car. But that's the only like over the top thing you do. You know what I'm saying?
If you wore the car in your head.
The mask does cost $500, so maybe you have a point.
I don't know. Okay. All right, so are you officially like forfeiting Majima?
I think so, yeah.
Or unless Jack, would you like to fight for Majima? Do you like him at all? Like I haven't really played Yakuza, so you're the only one that has any real familiarity with him.
I can see Majima being a great character in Super Smash Bros. What are the remaining options though?
2B, Dig Dug, Yarn Kirby, and Waluigi.
Okay. I guess in the face of all those choices, I would. Yeah, I'd let Majima go.
Okay, sorry, Goro. You gotta go back to your hostess club.
No, he doesn't have the hostess club anymore. He's just he's just running the Omi family. My laptop wallpaper right now actually is Majima, and he looks really sad in the picture, and I'm just looking at it as we're making this decision. I'm like, oh, sorry, dude.
Usually, like, suddenly a single tear comes down that picture. Like, it just... his face changes like the Vigo painting from Ghostbusters 2. Like he's gonna start pushing his way out of the screen in anger.
I hope not. That dude kicks ass, and I'm a small man.
Alrighty. So this is looking at the final roster. This is gonna be hard. We have 2 picks left, and we've got 4 characters left. 2B Dig Dug, Yarn Kirby, Waluigi. Those are all 4 very strong choices to me. I'm out of my 2 picks.
Yeah.
Huh?
Go ahead.
Okay, I think out of my 2 picks, it comes down to like Waluigi, I want more as like a passion, just the pure passion pick, but I think Yarn Kirby just as a whole would be a better character as terms of like just a gameplay and design sense, because you could do more with him. Like Waluigi, as hilarious and entertaining as he is, he doesn't really have a defined like any moves or like defining traits, because he's never had his own game. He's only appeared in sports things, unless they somehow made that his moveset where like he just hits people with tennis rackets and like
that's
Mario
exactly
Kart
what you
crap
would do.
or something.
His finisher move would be like a glorious tee off. In Mario Golf, he would have like the ability to like pull out his little go-kart to run people over. No, he'd hit people with tennis rackets. It'd be great. He would be amazing, phenomenal, perfect.
He probably would be, but then looking at Yarn Kirby and just what you could do.
Okay, but look, Yarn Kirby's great. I like the idea of Yarn Kirby stage, but I feel like he could be just a palette swap for Kirby, and they would just change the animation from like sucking people in to like, I don't know, throwing a.
But that changes the whole. But that's too big of a change for a palette, because that literally changes the entire strategy of playing with Kirby.
I mean, yeah. But also, Kirby's
somehow
already
Toon
in the
Link,
game, you know.
But so is Toon Link,
right? But
Toon Link is basically a copy of Link, whereas Yarn Kirby is different enough to be his own character.
But he's not a new character, and that's what we're here today to discuss.
Well, I mean, he's a new character in terms of like he's never been in the game, because by that boat, Waluigi is the oldest character. All right, no, actually, Dig Dug would be the oldest character. You know what I mean?
No, I have no idea where that point went.
Well, because he said he's not a new character.
Well,
Yarn Kirby's
I
not
just
new.
mean because Kirby's already in the game, so Yarn Kirby, like that's what I mean by him not being a new character. I mean,
like a fate, like he's still Kirby,
right?
A vastly different version of Kirby.
Like if I were to argue that a character should be removed from Smash Brothers, I would argue to remove like clones of other characters, like Toon Link, you know, like.
Mm-hmm.
But we're here discussing new characters.
Well, how do you feel? Okay, so how do you feel? Because this character is kind of a similar spot of like a Kirby versus Yarn Kirby. Like, how do you feel about Zelda and Sheik?
I mean, I feel like they're fine, kind of combined into one character.
Did you like when they separated them in the last game?
I didn't.
Because they are very different. It's like kind of got why they did it, because they don't play the same at all.
But it doesn't make sense that they don't play the same. She still has the same natural athletic ability.
But depends on what Zelda it is, though.
I mean,
I guess it's that Zelda. I don't know which Zelda, either Ocarina or Twilight Princess. But
yeah,
that Zelda. So I mean, but like the idea is that, you know, like they, or what about Samus and Zero Suit?
I'm against that decision entirely. I know they play very different, but they're the same character, dang it. And we're here discussing new characters.
Okay. I'm just saying, like, there is precedent for it, and it makes sense.
I'm not saying the idea and the gameplay mechanics aren't bad. I'm just saying maybe it doesn't 100% fit in the spirit of the list that we are constructing for a gaming Mount Rushmore.
How do you feel about this, Blake? Where do you lie?
About Yarn Kirby?
Yeah. So I guess at this point we're sort of like arguing specifically Yarn Kirby versus Waluigi.
Yeah, I agree. If Kirby's already in the game, I don't really see why another Kirby needs to be in there.
Okay. I mean,
Also,
yeah.
your ideas for Waluigi were way better. Like him having the tennis racket and whatnot and teeing up. I thought that was really awesome.
Alrighty. Well, that's it for Yarn Kirby. You guys have successfully unraveled Yarn Kirby. His fabric is blowing in the wind. His little eyeballs attached to attached to the string are just blinking helplessly as he's floating away. Okay, so that brings us down to 3. So we have 2 spots. So one of these gotta go. Dig Dug, Waluigi, 2B.
Okay.
They're each one of our. Funny enough.
The case for
I'm gonna
Okay.
just. I mean, Waluigi. Come on.
well, we have 2 spots
Waluigi
left.
makes the most sense
Yeah.
out of all.
I mean,
of
yes,
his
there are 2
characters.
spots left. I just feel like I think compared to these other 2, I think Yarn Kirby was the only one that could really stand up to Waluigi, and now that he's gone, I think he's kind of like a shoe-in over 2B and Dig Dug.
Yarn Yoshi was the weakest character by
Yarn
far.
Kirby.
Yarn Kirby was by far the weakest character of all of those there. But that being said, I do think Waluigi should get in, and I think Dig Dug should get in. I'm still on the fence about 2B.
The only thing that I'm drawn to Dig Dug over is the idea of his level.
Yep.
But the more I think about it, it feels like it would be at odds with Smash Bros. Like typical gameplay.
But I do feel like it'd be like one of the novelty stages, like the stage where they're all inside of a Mr. Game & Watch, and like just
Look,
random
man,
stuff is happening. I feel like it'd
Look,
be kind
man,
of like that.
I just want one of my characters to make it on the list, okay?
So wait, I think it sounds like we all agree that Waluigi should be on this.
Definitely.
If 2B,
There's 2 spots
I
left.
see, but I can also make the case for 2B because 2B is a really great character, and there's a really great pun and wordplay going on there. And also, I really liked the mechanic Blake brought up, where disappears behind them and kind of jukes them out. And I also just really like how you could get kind of weird with it. I like that, and the possibilities for stages, pretty neat. So I don't know. Maybe 2B would be better than Waluigi. I mean, Waluigi does make a certain amount of sense. I agree, but it's been 4 games. Maybe he'll get into the next one.
I think that. So, honestly, looking at these 3, I personally think Dig Dug is the weakest.
You take that back. You take that back right now.
I think so. Waluigi, I think I've presented my case for him, but I can certainly pour some gas on that fire if you'd like. But I think for 2B, for 2B has momentum in terms of like her game being pretty hot and relevant. So like her announcement would make a big splash for the next game. I think she would translate well, especially since there are points in Nier where you are controlling her from a 2D perspective. Right. It's hard to say 2B and 2D together. I'm trying really hard not to say 2B. You're controlling 2B from a 2D perspective. So, you could do that. I also think that you could incorporate her, like, what's the little drone thing that's always with her? Like, you could have that shooting people too and make that part of her combat. So that would play well with Smash. Like, you could air juggle people, like knock them in the air with your sword and then just like shoot them with the drone.
Yeah.
And I honestly, like, you guys were just now talking about 2B, I pictured like her final smash, which is like her finisher, being a thing where like, even though it's not really a 2B thing, like going back what I said about like having 9S incorporated, where like maybe she does a thing where like 9S shows up and like hacks the opponent and it does that hacking mini game as like the finisher. So you're like shooting them from like the top down, like
that would be
little
really
triangle
cool.
thing. And yeah, like you do that to like hack into the opponent, and then like maybe it finishes her, like it makes them weak, and then it ends with like her like knocking them out with her sword or something like that. I'm just saying that would be pretty sweet.
That would be awesome.
and you could do a near stage, kind of in the vein of like, I mean, I think that because Cloud got Midgar as a stage and that worked out really well. I could see like a near stage, maybe that like that initial like tanker area in the game. Like if they did a stage with that, maybe like the big robot that like the big tanker robot things in the back and like could mess with people.
Yeah, that would be sick.
Okay.
So I just think there's more you could do.
Okay, you make.
Like she has more gameplay potential, and she has like kind of like she's a pretty big deal as a,
Okay, you're making a lot of good points. I concede that. However, I'm gonna make a Hail Mary pitch. All right.
Okay.
Combining all of my worst ideas into one super idea, where you play as Dig Dug Man and Balloon Fight Guy, and they are teamed up like Annie and Clint / the Ice Climbers, and Dig Dug Guy inflates Balloon Guy's balloons and is used for like his grabs and is kind of like jumping around and like hits people with his vac pack, and Balloon Fight Guy is like up front punching people, throwing stuff out of his balloons, and I feel like they would be a really dynamic duo, and they would be able to like do like a thing where they almost do the inverse of the Donkey Kong, where you like grab a guy and just take them up off the top of the stage. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of potential there, and it would be really awesome.
Okay, I have a counterpoint.
Okay.
Did some investigating here.
Uh-oh.
Masahiro Sakurai loves Nier Automata.
But does he love Dig Dug?
I googled it and zero results overall.
That just means it's so
He said
close to his
that-
heart he's never told anyone before.
I think he mentioned in an interview that his wife left him because.
Okay, you're making that up. You take those filthy lies out of your
pretty
mouth.
Sure that's what he said. He snuck that in. When he was talking about the development of Smash 4, like killing him, he also said that I had a really bad Dig Dug addiction, and that's what got me through the game's development, and ultimately that is what caused our separation.
He said
Don't quote me on that. I'm just saying.
Here's him talking about what would be the most important part of putting 2B in Smash, the gameplay. He said the action is crisp and responsive, and it feels great. As expected of Platinum, it is a... Sorry, it's like a weird translation here. It's fast and responsive, but it feels like it... God, this translation's really bad. Moves have actual heft and weight behind them, and the way enemies explode and sound effects they make are satisfying too. So, look, all I'm saying is it's in his head. So, I'm going to drop a fan picture I see on this NeoGAF thread into the Slack or into the Skype chat, and you all tell me whether or not you think Dig Dug can stack up to this.
I mean, that's pretty convincing. Like the fact that it's already in Sakurai's
the fact
head,
that he's already making the case for it himself kind of trumps both Dig Dug and Waluigi, I think. But
I think 2B makes it.
Yeah.
I think it's time to be serious about putting her on there.
Yes.
She went from 2B to not to. She went from not to B to 2B. Dang it!
What the?
I messed that up. It was almost really well delivered on my part.
It's all about the delivery. All right, 2B, you did it. You have fulfilled your destiny, and your true destiny, which was to get on this Mount Rushmore for Super Smash Bros. And you've got, if anything, you might be number one because you've got the creator backing you.
I mean, but you have
this could actually
you have to
happen.
be real here. There's no way he hasn't constantly gotten messages about how he should put Waluigi into Smash.
Oh no, which it's probably why it's going to happen because he's going to be tired of hearing that crap.
Just shut up.
He's like, here you go. Shut up. I was like, I'm already like half dead making these. If anything that makes it less arduous in terms of feedback, just here you go. Here you have
Hold on.
So like,
I have another counterpoint.
Uh-oh.
In addition to spawning the spin-off series Mr. Driller, elements of Dig Dug have appeared in numerous other games. This is coming from the Smash Brothers wiki under Smash Bros. 4, such as cameos in some Pac-Man games. The Puka enemy from Dig Dug appears in Smash Run and cameos in Namco Roulette. Oh, never mind. Yeah, in Smash Bros.
Okay.
So,
But I mean, that Waluigi himself has always been kind of has cameoed in Smash as well. If anything, in a more complete role, you know. So he's got a leg up on the kind of assist cameo part on Dig Dug. I mean, come on, it's Waluigi.
yeah, Waluigi's definitely got my vote.
Yeah. Mine too. He's just so lovable.
It's his He is, and he's got a great mustache, and he's purple. Purple's the color of royalty. He's a prince, probably, maybe. We don't know. We don't know anything about Waluigi. Maybe this is the game that finally gives him some kind of backstory outside of he likes to cause trouble.
I like the idea that
Yeah.
he just bumped into Wario one day while practicing golf. He's just some guy.
He's just some weird dude.
He's not even a weird dude.
That
Like Wario like makes him wear the costume whenever they show up for events.
Oh, like he wasn't wearing the costume before he met
Yeah.
Wario? Like he was just regular clothes,
Like,
I guess?
his favorite color's purple,
like,
he's just
wait,
wearing
why does
regular
he-
clothes.
So wait, why does he hate Luigi
I don't think
then?
he hates Luigi. Or maybe Luigi like slighted him in a game somehow by accident and
I don't think Luigi's that clever.
yeah,
Oh,
by accident.
That
And
makes more
Waluigi
sense.
took
Yeah, I
it
was saying.
personally.
He's got a temper. Maybe you can see that.
He's
Or
just
if you
very
would say,
competitive,
like,
Marcus.
he wants things. Or like I was gonna say, like the whole bumping into Wario thing. Maybe Wario told him like, "Hey, I hate Mario, so I need somebody that hates his brother. You want to be that dude?"
You know, I
just like,
I feel like it was more like Wario like saw Waluigi play and was like, "Man, you're really good, and I need a partner for this doubles tournament. Hey,
You're pretty good.
want to show up to play some tennis with me, buddy?"
Okay. You know how to hold this racket? That's Wario, by the way. It's a great impression. I know you couldn't tell for a second who I was. You were like, man, where did Marcus go? When did Wario enter the podcast? But I assure you, it was just me. Yeah. So there it is. Waluigi, you won something. Hopefully this won't be as close as you get to being in the game. Like, I feel like if there was ever a game to finally do it, this is kind of the one. Like, if he doesn't get into this one, then it's probably never going to happen. So, I will officially send this podcast to Mr. Sakurai to let him know that if it's on the Rushmore, which means that there's no greater confirmation that these characters should be in the game. Like, if it's on a Carving Gaming Rushmore, that means it has to happen. We have officially put Waluigi over, as well as 3 other characters. So, our top 4 dream fighters for Super Smash Bros. Switch are 2B from Nier Automata, Simon Belmont from Castlevania, Beautiful Joe from Beautiful Joe, and Waluigi from Mario. That's one hell of a list, and I would love to play as all 4 of those characters.
Me too.
Yep.
We did it. Da-na-na-na, da-na-na-na-na. I'm just going to sing the Smash song real quick. And we have finished our Rushmore, ladies and gentlemen. We have carved yet another beautiful Mount Rushmore in our mountain.
It's glorious.
And now that that's done... Glorious! Obligatory wrestling reference. And now we're at the point of the show where we give our listeners a chance to find out how they can reach out to the 3 of us to either complain about what we picked about, or maybe to agree with us. Or you can tell them, or me, your own personal picks for who you want to see in Super Smash Bros. So first, Mr. Jack Gardner, where can they find you on social media? And also feel free to plug anything that you got going
People
on.
can find me over at Riverboat Jack on Twitter, and I also do a gaming podcast called The Best Games Period, and you can find that at Best Games Period. It's on iTunes and SoundCloud and a bunch of other places too, if you're interested. And working on a podcast that's coming up with Marcus, and I don't think we've announced the name of that yet, so I'm going to keep that to myself. But it's coming, and you should keep your ears out listening for it, because it's going to be great. And
It's pretty great.
you can find my work over on Extra Life, community.extra-life.org. And if you haven't heard of Extra Life before, it's an awesome gaming charity where you play games and raise money for sick and injured kids all across the United States and Canada. So you check that out. And that's it.
Alrighty. And Blake Hester, where can I find you on social media? And feel free to plug anything that you got going on.
You can follow me on Twitter at Metallica is Rad. If you ever forget my Twitter handle, just think, what is Metallica? Oh, the Rad. And then my work typically is on either Polygon or Rolling Stone. So there's a good chance I'm hanging out on either of those. So just check there every now and then, and I'll be there.
Alrighty. And as for myself, Marcus Stewart, you can find me on Twitter at MarcusStewart7. That is the number 7. You can also check out my written work on my personal website, marcuswritesaboutgames.wordpress.com. Recently, I put up my Sea of Thieves first impressions, as well as my first ever audio feature. Basically like an audio book, but for a feature. So if you don't want to read my dumb words, you can download and listen to a recording of me narrating those dumb words for your audio delight. And also, you can find me on gaminghistoria.com. Recently put up a Smash Bros. Feature over there, discussing the new Smash 4 newcomers that should appear in Smash 5, using the arts of science and magic to make those determinations. And yeah, keep an eye out on that site for future updates in the future. And that wraps up another episode of Carving Gaming Rushmores, but stay tuned for future episodes because we have more topics to discuss. We've got more mountains to carve, and more debates to get into. So until then, have a good one, and thanks for listening.